Now, Pushpin Singh is Senior Economist at the Centre for Economics and Business Research and joins us now. Hello, Pushpin. Lots of data coming through and lots of variables around sentiment and inflation, etc., etc. If you look at it from your perspective, is it more positive or more worrying?
No, definitely. It's a lot of data to analyze here. And it's definitely a lot of mixed signals that are coming around. I would reiterate the fact that it's a lot of mixed signals. I think this economic sentiment coming a bit higher than expected is a combination of inflationary dynamics. If we look past the headline figure, both core inflation, specifically for Germany and Spain, are within the a lot lower than the headline inflation. And the headline inflation has also jumped up due to that stark decline seen this time last year, dropping out of the annual comparison. That being said, the ECB also has seen confidence within this inflationary trend that we are seeing right now and has voted to cut interest rates. So the combination of this inflationary dynamics and monetary policy is helping the sentiment go up for businesses alike. That being said, the consumer sentiment has dropped, and it's quite interesting to see that in light of the current inflationary dynamics. We think here that it's very much related to the psychological scars of both the COVID-19 pandemic, which prompted a shift in consumer behavior, and also the fact that this prolonged period of inflation is really affecting the a sentiment for consumers in terms of what is going to come up next, and that leads to the next point of inherent uncertainty with the US and the electoral outcomes there. So a lot of data to analyze, a lot of mixed signals there, and it's really hard to say right now the trajectory. But
I want to try and pin you down on what's happening in France, because a lot of people are saying, oh, here we go, it's the next Greece, which of course was a massive economic meltdown when it defaulted on its IMF loan. Other people arguing the fundamentals in France are nowhere near as dire. Where do you sit on this debate?
I think definitely the fundamentals of France are definitely a lot more stronger than Greece. It is definitely a lot developed economy. It's definitely a lot more advanced economy. And yeah, its fundamentals are definitely there. It's also seen quite a drop down in inflation. So as compared to the likes of Spain and Greece, for example, and the rest of the Eurozone. But it doesn't help that the current political uncertainty is definitely a huge detriment to its outlook. That deficit, bursting past its deficit, which is expected to amount to around 6% of GDP this year, way above the EU Commission's 3%, mandated 3%, will definitely mandate some form of spending cuts and tax rises, which the PM is trying to pass. But it doesn't help in terms of the investment climate and investment inflows coming into it. And with your borrowing costs going up in terms of the yields that happened earlier this week and also today as well, it's not looking like a great outlook for France from an investment perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you can see the French government is trying to do all it can to say, look, we've got things in place to cut down our borrowing, etc., etc. But if the government collapses, and many people are saying it could happen within the week, all of that could, of course, change. I can't let you go without asking you about the ECB meeting in December. We've seen interest rate cuts, but we also know that Germany, which is the biggest economy in the Eurozone, has been stagnating. What do you think is going to happen at that meeting in December?
Well, our forecast have a prediction for another cut. The reason, which would be about 25 basis cuts. The reason being is because the ECB is slowly gearing towards from having this monetary policy restrictive enough to curb down inflation to preserving the growth outlook. Bear in mind that the growth outlook for the Eurozone is not looking good relative to other advanced economies in the world, not least the US. That being said, the Eurozone is a huge bloc, and considerations must be made, specifically to Germany being the largest economy inside the Eurozone itself. But there is definitely a mindset within the ECB, given the fact that they have this confidence in this inflationary trend being sustainable, that there is a clear mandate to shift towards preserving growth, given the current poorer growth outlook within the Eurozone itself.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the European Central Bank does in December. Thank you so much for your views there, Pushpin Singh, Senior Economist at the Centre for Economics and Business Research.